I am Jennifer Ziegler. I'm thrilled to have this opportunity tonight for many reasons. But I'd love to begin the introduction of our 2022 recipient of the 19th Annual Greater Cedarburg Foundation Civic Award in memory of James W. Coutts, Gail Ostermann. My only regret is that I didn't get to work with Gail because I was lucky enough to succeed Gail on the board 3 years ago as marketing co-chair, stepping into shared responsibilities with Rob Health. And let me tell you, this has been a huge honor and a huge privilege. Gail left the files in impeccable order, paving the way for a seamless transition, showing me the extent of her commitment to and passion for the GCF. I know I am extremely grateful, as is every single person who has ever worked with Gail, I'm sure. If you know Gail, you know she embodies dedication, creativity, action, and humility. She still can't believe she's receiving this award. For a little background, Gail moved to Cedarburg in the mid-'80s, which many of you know, to take a position with a public relations firm. Little did she know, she says, how the community would embrace her and how she would embrace it back. Born and raised in Kohler, Wisconsin, Gail received a journalism degree from UW-Eau Claire in 1977. She became the state editor of the Janesville Gazette for 5 years before making her move to Cedarburg, and she fell in love instantly. In 1986, she joined the staff of the Ozaukee County News Graphic as its advertising director. Trained as a journalist, Gail was wary of a career in advertising, but quickly found she enjoyed the relationships and networking with local business people. Lucky for us, she became active in the Chamber of Commerce. That started it all. Through these strengthening connections, Gail dove into community service. She saw that many local nonprofits needed people on their boards with skills in writing, marketing, and public relations. So she volunteered for decades thereafter to become that person with the Cedarburg Grafton Rotary, Cedarburg Chamber of Commerce, the Cedarburg Education Foundation, the Cedarburg Cultural Center, the Greater Cedarburg Foundation, the Cedarburg PAC Visiting Artist Series, and the Cedarburg Tourism Promotion and Development Committee. And not only that, there were the Mequon activities, which we won't talk about tonight. While Gail retired in 2015 as publisher of M Magazine after a 20-year tenure, she remains very active in local causes, especially the Cedarburg Grafton Rotary. According to GCF board member and Civic Award co-chair Pat Tomey, Gail's energy and enthusiasm are boundless. Her commitment to our community is endless, and her kindness, thoughtfulness, and tact are beyond measure. Gail is the ultimate volunteer who helps keep so many of our nonprofit organizations in the spotlight, never shining the spotlight on herself. She is worthy of recognition and honor by our greater community. So it is my great privilege to introduce to you our 2022 Civic Award recipient, Gail Ostermann.
Wow. I know it's not polite to point, but I'm pointing over here at Leighton Olson right now. I'm up here because of him, and you are such a dear friend. Thank you. You know, I remember being a young professional going to Cedarburg Chamber meetings and praying that I would know just one person in the room so I wouldn't have to look like some kind of a wallflower. And now look at this. I guess I knew how to work a room. Thank you all for being here. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Jen, for the kind introduction, and to my friend Pat Tomey out there somewhere for organizing this event. When you look at the people on the program who have received this award before me, this is a truly humbling experience. Many of them I have known as friends, some I have known as mentors. Never in a million years did I think I'd be up here with them. As you can probably tell with my voice trembling a little bit. This is not a real comfortable moment for me. I am not big on the limelight. I prefer, as Jen alluded to kind of doing community service quietly behind the scenes and hoping that what I do is making a small difference in some way. I appreciate that the Greater Cedarburg Foundation found that those contributions are worthy of this award. Speaking of the foundation, which is very close to my heart, I remember a time when I was the president of the Cedarburg Cultural Center Board of Directors back in 2003, and the foundation had just been launched. Mal Hepburn, and I don't think Mal is here tonight, is he? Yeah, okay, he's not here tonight, okay. But Mal Hepburn invited myself and Sarah Hall, who was the executive director of the Cultural Center at the time, to have breakfast with him. It was there that he told us that as its first major project, the foundation had decided to raise the money to pay off the sizable mortgage on this building so that we could focus on our core mission of being a community gathering place for the arts. Sarah and I just about fell off our chairs. The foundation made good on its promise, and to this day, the Cultural Center continues to thrive without the burden of a mortgage, while the foundation continues to make a huge impact in the community in so many ways, as you witnessed tonight with all the grant recipients that were awarded. So thank you, GCF, for all you do. I'm blessed to be surrounded tonight by so many people who inspire me every day. I'm looking out at this crowd, and it's like, you guys, you're the best. This is why I love this community. First, I'd like to introduce my family. My brother Mike, who traveled here from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. My sister Kathy and her boyfriend Robert from Middleton, Wisconsin. And my brother Jeff and his wife Peggy from Sheboygan Falls, just up the road. These are not only my siblings, they are my best friends. Although Mom liked me best. I was also pleasantly surprised to have my Aunt Carol, my Uncle Ron join us tonight, my cousin Gary and his wife Peggy. It means a lot to me that you're here. Secondly, my Rotary family. So many of you are here tonight that I think this warrants some makeup. Don't you think so, Mark? You all mean more to me than you'll ever know. Then I have this amazing group of close friends who are always here for me, and some of them are here tonight, and I just wanted to recognize Rick and Stacy, Tom and Cindy, Bill and Mary, Phil and Jane, Paul and Gail. There are many more that I could go on, but you guys are the best, and thank you for always being here for me. Last but not least is this guy, Bob. This man has put up with me for 25 years. I know it sounds cliche, but he truly is my rock. Bob is a rather private person, but has graciously accompanied me to more community events than we can count, from civic events like this to GCF galas to cultural center fundraising events, and the list goes on. And he has been my partner in every way. I also have friends here tonight from my book club, my running club, my Zumba class, my tennis league. I'd do anything to get people to come. And even a few former colleagues. And I had 4 really good friends surprise me tonight too. Jab Marsha, Carlos, Terry. Thank you. What a surprise. You have all really enriched my life. Since I have the bully pulpit here, I also wanted just to take a moment to put in a plug for community journalism. Local newspapers are certainly struggling these days, but we need them to keep us informed about the issues that matter in our lives. Without our local newspaper, I would not be up here today. The news graphic not only helped me with my career, but has always been there to help me get out the word about fundraising events and to show what we can do when we come together as a community. So thank you, Lisa Curtis, Mark Justice, and Kay Dulkey, all the other team members for what you do to keep us informed. I know for a fact that you are not in this to get wealthy, but you do it because you have a passion for your craft. So please, please, everyone, continue to support community journalism. So when I was thinking about what I might say tonight, I went back and read the bios of all the 18 award recipients who preceded me for inspiration. I really did do that, which really makes me humble. But I decided to leave you with this story. And this story is about Merlin Rosted. For those of you who didn't have the privilege to know Merlin, he was the first recipient of this award in 2003. He was a former Cedarburg mayor. He ran a local manufacturing business, and he was a talented metal sculptor and artist. I knew Merlin as a fellow Rotarian. In our club, he was known to be quite a character who liked to tell corny jokes. He knew that I was a runner, and he probably told me a dozen times about how he was quite an accomplished athlete in his day, and that at age 65, he could still run a mile around the Cedarburg High School track in 7 minutes flat. So one day, I get a call at my office from Merlin. It was a beautiful, sunny summer day, and our Rotary lunch was going to be held at the Hidden Glen Golf Course near Jackson. Merlin asked if I'd be willing to give him a ride to the meeting. He was in his 90s at the time and didn't drive much anymore. I said, of course. So I arrive at his house and expect him to get into my modest SUV. Instead, he dangles a car key in front of me and says, "Would you like to drive my car?" A year earlier, Merlin had bought himself a bright red convertible sports car. I can't exactly remember the make and model, but I've told it was quite pricey. So I'm like, yes. I get behind the wheel and he says, "Should we put the top down?" I'm like, absolutely. So with my hair blowing in the wind, I'm driving Merlin to Rotary in a classy red convertible. Here I am, thinking of myself as a wrinkling middle-aged woman in her early 50s, and realizing that Merlin is thinking that he is being driven to Rotary by a hot chick in a hot car. That was the first lesson I learned from Merlin that day, that everything is a matter of perspective. When I delivered Merlin safely home, he asked if I'd like to come in for tea. I said, sure. As some of you may recall, Merlin lived in a sprawling ranch home right next to the high school. One long wall in his home was covered with photos and mementos from his life. So he proceeded to give me a tour down memory lane. The first photo was of his lovely wife, Gladys. He talked about how it was love at first sight, how beautiful, smart, and talented she was, and how heartbroken he was when she succumbed to Alzheimer's disease. He showed me pictures of his kids and grandkids and talked about how proud he was of them. One was a filmmaker. His daughter was an accomplished ballroom dancer. The end of the wall led into a fitness room, and he told me how his secret to longevity was working out on his treadmill every day. He told me about his love for nature, and he showed me his backyard that was dotted with bird feeders, tall grasses, and his homemade sculptures. He talked about his years as mayor and having to make some difficult decisions that weren't always popular. And he told me about his love for Cedarburg and why giving back as a philanthropist, because he had the resources, was the right thing for him to do. When a community is good to you, you need to be good to a community, he told me. I really needed to get back to work that day, but found myself yearning to hear more of Merlin's stories. In one afternoon, this man had taught me so many things about perspective, about aging gracefully, about love of family, about appreciation for our surroundings, about leadership, and about the rewards you reap from getting involved in community service and giving back, because it's the right thing to do. Merlin passed away in 2013 at age 100. What a life well lived. I am proud to share this award with him and the others who have earned this award before me. And I am really proud to be the first recipient of this award to be given in memory of my friend, Jim Coutts. It is a real honor. Thank you.
So in addition to being recognized, the foundation also does two other things. One is we make a donation in the name of the recipient to that person's charity of choice. And Gail, you were going to mention that.
Okay. Yeah, I decided that I would donate the money to the Cedarburg Grafton Rotary Student Exchange Program. We lost a very special Rotarian this year, Bob Chmielewski. He's a former president of the Greater Cedarburg Foundation and also a very good community servant. And the Rotary Exchange student was very special to Shimmy. And so I am going to donate the $1,000 to the Rotary Student Exchange Program in memory of Bob Chmielewski.
And the other item that we give to every recipient is this plaque indicating that she is the recipient of the 2022 Cedarburg Foundation Civic Award. Thank you, Gail.